thank you all for coming to this press conference at very short notice. We are grateful. As you all know, we have just concluded a very important elections, the elections for president. As Team Sobea or Team Essa Mbye Faal, we have crisscrossed the country and tried to sell our agenda to the Gambian people, as every candidate in the elections did. The people listened to us. They heard our program. We also listened to them and heard their concerns and views. And we endeavored to address them via our programs. On December 4, 2021, the people spoke their opinion and chose their leader. The results were announced by the IEC, and the credibility of the elections was confirmed by all international and domestic observers. We have also looked at the materials in our possession and the information we have, and have concluded that even though there might have been irregularities here and there might have been some violations of the law here and there, by and large, the election results, in our opinion, represents the verdict of the Gambian people. As such, it behoves all of us to respect that position and come together as a people to try to foster the unity of the Gambian people, try to promote and strengthen the peace of this country, and we move ahead and focus on national development. As an entity that is just a new entrant in the politics of our country, we would now focus on trying to build our brand, make it more acceptable to the Gambian people, and prepare to participate and win future elections. At the present moment, I know emotions and tensions are high. It behoves all of us, all citizens and residents alike, to put aside the differences and try to ensure calm and try to ensure that the peace for which this country is well known for is not jeopardized. We are a very small country with a few people relative to everywhere else, and we are all connected in a very significant way. It is therefore important that we put aside whatever differences we may have and come together as one people and try to reinforce and strengthen the peace that we have. As far as our team is concerned, the elections are over. A leader has been elected. We believe it is our responsibility to respect that position and to live with it and to work with it. On that note, I have called President-elect Adama Barrow and congratulated him on his re-election, and we have had a good conversation about the future of this country. Like I have always said, no single person or a group of people own this country. This country belongs to all of us. Therefore, all of us have an equal responsibility in ensuring that this country stays together and that the people of this country enjoy the peace that we have always enjoyed. And it is now time for all of us to join hands and work together for the upliftment of our people and for the development of our country. All of you may know that I have been to the house of Honorable Lawyer Usainu Dabo yesterday, wherein we issued a statement together with other political leaders rejecting the election results. Yes, I did that because I believed at the time that it was the right thing to do. Because at the time we believed that the election victory was procured through certain illegal means, including what I called community vote buying. That is, you take certain incentives or inducements to communities to get them to vote for you. We have made this complaint consistently throughout the campaign to both domestic and international observers. We have also made the same complaints to the IEC. And for that reason, as a lawyer, thinking only about legal issues, my conclusion was that the election result may be true, but that result was obtained through means that are prohibited by Gambian law. And that is why I participated in issuing that statement. My going to the house of Honorable Usainu Dabo and meeting him and Honorable Kande had no other purpose apart from discussing the outcome of the election and what we felt we could do as political leaders. I understand that some have misinterpreted my appearance there as a coalition or as an alliance between or among these political leaders who were present there. And let me hasten to say that there was no alliance or coalition. That was far from what we were thinking. This was a unique moment in which we had to discuss a particular matter of importance and urgency in the political landscape. And it was important that as leaders we did that. People may have different opinions as to whether that was ill-advised or whether it was the right thing to do. I believed that it was the right thing to do because as a Gambian, what we believe is in respect for elders. And in view of the situation in which Honorable Usainu Dabo was, I deemed it necessary to go to his house for that meeting. If by respecting others, especially our adults, and respecting people who have served this country in very high capacities, if by doing so people vilify me, well, I accept responsibility for that and still will stick to respecting our seniors. That's the way I was brought up. That's the way I have always lived my life. And that is the way I wish to continue to live my life. Respecting others should not be a crime. But let me tell you, dear Gambians, Essa, Mbye, Faal, or the team I am with, who push me, who encourage me every day, who come out with our policies, who fund our campaign, who drive and motivate us. We would never, ever contemplate doing anything that is unlawful or anything that would jeopardize the peace of this country. We will never do that. Be rest assured of that. We are very decent and patriotic people who love our country above everything else. we would never be found doing things that would jeopardize the safety and security of people, or anything that would bring this country into problems. Never. You have seen me in action. You have seen what happened at the TRRC. When the mob went out for Yankuba Ture, it was me who went out on the radios and make announcements that that must stop. Mr. Ture had rights, and the law must be respected. People must not take the law in their own hands. Throughout our campaign, you have seen how our people have conducted themselves. Every morning before we departed to any places, we read out our rules to our members. Respect everybody. Be careful how you operate in the traffic. Do not insult people. Do not throw stones. Do not argue with people. For this is the way we believe we must comport ourselves. Being respectful of others and being respectful of the law. And also wanting to see the prosperity of the country and its people. That is our ethos. And that is why we were the first candidate to have issued our own code of conduct, which would guide us in the campaign. And that is also the reason why, during the campaign, in the middle of it, I left the campaign to come to the town to sign a code of conduct, which is basically similar to the code of conduct we had already received. And that is why I also had to leave the campaign to come down and participate in a presidential debate. It was all aimed at respecting the people of this country, showing everybody in this country that we are people of honor, people of truth, and people of the law. So, and that is why we conduct ourselves in that manner. After signing the statement rejecting the election results, we had to come back to base and further review our material and our evidence and the information we have. And upon doing that, we came to the conclusion that, yes, there might have been violations of the law here and there. But the evidence that we have, we believe, was not sufficient to warrant going to court. And for the simple reason that a lot of us were also involved in the same activity to varying degrees. And he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. And because of the respect we have for the law, we said to ourselves, look, we cannot take this to court. And we cannot, on the basis of this, steer anxiety amongst the people. So we decided that we would withdraw from all potential legal actions. I called Honorable Mama Kande and informed him of our decision. And I also spoke to Honorable Usainu Dabo and informed him of our decision. Last night, we issued a statement to the press stating our position. From now onwards, Team Sobea would focus on building our brand with a view to positioning ourselves to contest in future elections of this country. For we believe that we have a lot to contribute to the development of the country. We believe that the political space is open for us to participate as well-meaning Gambians for the upliftment of our people and to the development of our country. That is what we have to say. I thank you for listening, and I will take some questions.
Thank you very much. Essa Faal considered to be running as for parliamentary election in April, like Julius Malema of South Africa and Robert Kyagulanyi of Uganda?
I doubt that. I doubt that for a lot of reasons. Uh, Running for president in this country is very tedious, time-consuming, and also financially draining, especially for a small team like ours that is rejecting big donors. We refuse to take big money from donors. We refuse to take money from non-Gambians. So all our campaign was funded by ourselves from our humble resources. So it's been a bit financially challenging. But above that, we have to regroup, we have to reorganize, we have to prepare ourselves. Look, we had 90 days to do what we did, to announce and get nominated and participate and campaign for the elections. It's been quite tough. 90 days, it's just 90 days, you know. And I think we can pat ourselves in the backs for what we have achieved. If we now want to participate in parliamentary elections, it would be very tough. But we would reassess our situation and see what is the best thing for us to do. Now we have the next 5 years to prepare. So we would want to make sure that we do it very, very well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I am Mbye from LSTV1. Mr. Faal, my question is, I know all the time you've been talking about helping to develop this country, and many believe Essa can help in the development of this country. And if Team Essa Faal or Essa Mbye Faal is given the chance to, or given the chance by President Barrow to be one of his ministers, will you be ready to grant or get the position?
Look, these are things for which there is no yes or no answer. You know, it depends on the needs of the country and what I think is best at the time. So to say a yes or a no would not be appropriate under the circumstances. These are things that are better left untouched until the occasion presents itself, and then you evaluate the situation at that time and make what one believes is the right decision. For me, it's not about position. If it was about position, I would have entered a coalition before the election. But it's not about position. If it is about position, maybe I should be on my way to The Hague tomorrow, because I have also been offered a job at The Hague, at the International Criminal Court. So it is not about that. It is about being available to help my country. And I am ready to do that. That's why I am here. Mr. Sanyang wants to say something.
Yeah, my name is Alaji Sanyang, and I'm the campaign chairman. Our belief is that as Gambians, we can help with Gambia without being ministers. And if you look at the composition of the executive of Essa Mbye Faal campaign team, and everything that we've wanted is not positions, it's what can we do to help the country. And we all know what Essa Mbye Faal did at the TRRC, and many of you can attest that he did more for the country than several of the ministers who were there. So yes, he will be participating in the development of the country, not necessarily being a minister, but as a private citizen also, he can help in the development of the country. There are several private citizens who are out there who are doing more than several of the ministers, we believe. Thank you.
Yes. Mama, you want to ask a question? You good? Any other? Yes.
Many of the people are in a suspense to know as to whether this Surya movement will be modified into a political party who will remain as a movement. So what do you have to tell the people out there? Is it going to be maintained
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. But in all likelihood, it would be changed to a political party. I mean, maybe some of you don't know, but it is very tough to run as an independent candidate without structures, and especially for the little time we had, 90 days to contest a nationwide elections. It is very, very tough. We are used to challenges, and we are used to conquering challenges. And that was one of the reasons why we were bold and audacious and believed that we could conquer this enormous mountain. But here we are. We did not succeed in doing that. This opportunity presents itself for us to reorganize and better position ourselves for the future. And we believe that a political party is the way to go for the simple reason that it compels you to have the necessary structures and the footholds in the local communities, which are really important in helping any political party put its agenda out there and have that connection with the local people to enable or position itself to win an election. So the answer to your question is yes, we are planning in on that.
One very last question. You have congratulated the president. I mean, it seems that like you are not moved by position, but instead moved by the fact that you want to contribute to the development of this country. So, what advice do you have for the government about corruption? What would you like to recommend to the government?
It feels like you've been listening into some conversations as the fly on the wall. Look, we did not just run for president because we just want to be president. We ran because there are certain problems in our society which require that we solve them for the development of this country. And we thought that we could do something about that. That's why we participated in this election. And corruption is one that is very significant and very high up in our agenda. We do believe that it's because of the corruption in this country that's why the Gambia is listed as 152 out of 153 countries worst to do business list. So something has to be done about it. As a lawyer, I see corruption as a human rights violation. And you know why? Just imagine if there is to be a road going into Kerr, right? And somebody thinks that she or he deserves it better than all of us and pockets the money. Our rights to that development have been violated. And the corruption is also one contribution to instability in countries. We don't want that instability. But it also impoverishes people. Just imagine people's salaries stolen, or projects that would improve, say, the health care of people. The money is stolen. So the effects of corruption in our society far outstrip the pocketing of funds by an individual. They have serious debilitating and consequential effects on the lives of people. And that's why corruption has to be stamped out from Gambian society. So we encourage the new government to take corruption very seriously and take such anti-corruption measures that would reduce corruption and graft in this country. If we don't do that, our development would be retarded by 40%. Otherwise, I mean, we could have grown faster than we are had it not been for the grip of corruption in our society. So that is one very important issue we recommend the government to work on. That's why we made it a significant issue in our campaign. The other is the healthcare sector in this country. It is disheartening to learn that our sisters, mothers, and daughters die in hospitals because there aren't any gloves, or that the power goes out, or that there are no medications, or a doctor is not available. So these are all very significant areas that the government should look into. Like I've said throughout the campaigns, ours is a developing country. Every sector requires urgent intervention. So what we say is we ask the government to be very sensitive and alive to the needs of the Gambian people, to look into the issue of the cost of living, which is like a runaway train, to look into the issue of wages, because people are paid salaries that that compels them to sit in indignities of life, and things like that. So there is a lot this government has to do. So we encourage the government to be alive to these issues, but be rest assured that as a would-be party in opposition, we would continue to make our case about the plight of the Gambian people and what are the issues that should take this country forward. And we would never tire doing that. Thank you.
I have a question. I am from Gambian Parents Coalition. The question I have is that yesterday we have seen you with the UDP party leader and also Mama Kande of GBC. And then later on we see you congratulating the president, Adam Mbye. Then all of you have rejected the election report yesterday, but seeing you that you have accepted that the president has won the election. What advice would you have for the other party leaders?
Look, it would be arrogant for me to advise them as to what to do. It would be arrogant, it would be disrespectful. These are party leaders. They know best what is good for their party and for their position. I do trust that both of them, or all of them, would do what they think is best for the country. I believe that all of them would be law-abiding. I believe that all of them would avoid taking steps that would plunge the country in chaos. I say this because I respect all of them as party leaders, and I do believe that all of them have the interest of the nation at heart. That is my belief. I am not the person who would disrespect somebody else. I am not the person who would cast aspersion on the integrity of people, especially leaders. I would always give them the due regard and respect that they deserve, even when some of them may not accord me the same courtesy. But I think that it is dignified and honorable to understand that as leaders there is a responsibility, and that the responsibility is to look beyond the self and think about what is in the best collective interest of the Gambian people. And I trust that they will do that.
Okay. One more question. So my question is, your trumpet, my question is, in your declaration of intent that once you are voted in to the presidency, in 30 days, you will have to reinstate the draft constitution, which actually reflects the wishes and aspirations of the Gambian people. Now that you've lost to President Adama Barrow, and you earlier on stated that you're going to stay behind as policymakers, are you going to engage the current government, recognition of the fact that in their manifesto there is no provision that talks about bringing up the issue of the draft constitution? So are you going to engage President Adama Barrow to consider the draft constitution? And the next question would be, you work as the lead counsel for the TRRC, and then after the commission, there were some recommendations that were put forward by the government. Are you still going to engage President Adama Barrow to making sure that these recommendations are implemented to the lab? Thank you.
I am not sure what engage means in this context, but I can assure you of one thing. We would do what we believe as a would-be party is the right thing for the Gambian people. And that entails making the necessary advocacy for certain policy positions to be taken and adopted by the government, or to criticize certain policy statements or decisions of the government. That way, the government is put on check. You know, being in the opposition is not easy. All we do is we make noise. Sometimes that noise is very helpful. Sometimes that noise is ignored. But that is all a matter for the people to digest as part of the political process and a matter for consideration in re-elections. Because I always say, a people get the government that they deserve. But equally, the people have a responsibility to hold its government accountable for its actions. So if we hold the government accountable, well, we get the government to act. If we don't hold the government accountable, then the government is able to do whatever it wants. So this is a collective process. As a would-be political party, we would be raising the issues. We will be making the necessary noise. But it's also for the people to hold the government accountable. If the people think that we have better policies and that we would do better in governance, surely I want to believe that the people would be reasonable and would want to elect us the next time we run. But if the people feel that the incumbent or another political entity has better policies, then they would vote for those people. But be rest assured that we would continue to push for the policy positions that we believe in. And the constitution, adoption of a workable constitution, a constitution that would strip away the shackles of dictatorship, a constitution that would ensure the rights of the Gambian people, a constitution that would ensure rule of law, and one that would ensure greater reconciliation of the Gambian people is something that we would advocate for.
Can we take the last question? Is your question answered?
Yes. So, again, you looking at your flyer, you've had very beautiful policies that are very much important to the lives of the Gambian people. And most of the time, politicians would want to wait until when they are elected in power. Then that's the time they would want to bring up their policies. Now, I'm very much concerned with regards to the fishing aspect of it, which actually is being controlled by most of the Senegalese. Right? So, do you have any initiative to actually revive the fishing aspect, even though you are not voted as president of the Gambia?
Well, like I said, the only thing we can do is to raise policy considerations, criticize the government for taking wrong actions, and offering alternatives to the people. That's all we can do. So beyond that, there isn't really much that we can do, because implementation of policy or passing policy into law is a matter for government. So you have to be in the government of the day to be able to do that. But be rest assured that we would continue to advocate for the issues that are of importance for us. And one important issue is the absence of Gambians in the fishing industry. You know, we can be better than just watchers at sea. You know, we can do other things.
Aside from the advocacy aspect of it, which actually sometimes might be a little bit helpful, are you going to be action-oriented in trying to make it so that you provide opportunities for young people who actually want to get back on the business aspect?
I wish I could. Then we would not be.
You understand that Mbye Faal is a billionaire, and then you have a lot of people that are supporting.
Let me tell you, that is wishful thinking of some people. All that glitters is not gold. You know, I know that some people attempted to recreate my declaration at the IEC. And in trying to recreate it, they made mistakes. and painted me as this super rich dude, which I am not. You know, but thanks to God, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. You know, I think I wish I was in a position to do that. Then we would not be having this conversation. But whatever it is that I can do for this country, I would, you know, with the little that I have. That publication, by the way, it is unauthorized because it was not my declaration that was publicized. It was somebody's recollection of what was contained in my declaration. And therefore, it was prone or liable to errors. And indeed, it contained errors. So, and that painted me in a light that was not necessarily favorable. But hey, we just live with this. These are things that happen. I want to believe that it was done in good faith, but it cost me a lot in the elections. People refused to donate to my campaign because they thought I should be donating to them.
Essa, Faal, or the Soviet team are purchasing maybe 10 boats or 5 boats for young people who are interested in fishing.
I wish I could do that. Honestly speaking, I would have done so. Look, if truth be told, I have done what I could in Gambian society. For anybody who's close to me just a little bit would know what I have been doing, the way I have been living my life in this country. Anybody who worked at the TRRC would know how I have lived my life in this country. I have done what I can. And it pains me that there is a whole lot more to be done. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to run for president. Because what is happening in this country is hard for some people. But that's the way life is. You know, we can't solve it all. It requires a government to solve the problems. Even the government cannot solve them all. So we can only keep trying. And I do hope that in Gambia we would make it our priority to galvanize all the resources of the country and use them for one purpose, and for one purpose only, which is for the development of the Gambian people. And that is why I am here, running for president, hopefully yet again.
Mbye, you have any question? You good?
I'm done.
You're done? Okay. Unless Essa or any member of the team want to give a closing remark, 2 minutes, then we'll release the media because it's
Vote
very
of
busy
time?
schedule
Yeah.
for the
Yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone for coming and to thank the Gambian people for giving us the opportunity to sell you our blueprint, which is our agenda. Unfortunately, it fell short of what we expected, but this is just the beginning. And to the last questions, the person asking the question of what we will do as a group. We are going to, once we decide on the setting up of the political party, we will be an opposition with a difference. And we will hope that the government will create the conducive environment that we will be helping the people in. Because again, it's only the government that can create that environment. And then we as people, or we as a political organization can come in and help and support the youth, the women, and everyone else that we can support. Again, I was talking to some young people today, and my conversation with them is, what can we do to support our country in the next 5 years? And that we are not going to go back to sleep and wait until 2026 to come back and say we will run for office. Once we establish a political party, we will be engaging people, we will be talking to people, we will be in helping people in terms of getting them the socio-economic development that they need. We are hoping that the government will create that environment that we can help our people to prosper. So with that, I thank you all, and I thank my fellow Gambians for giving us this opportunity. This is a very rare opportunity to go out to the people and sell your agenda to them. And we are very, very appreciative of that.
My name is James Bahum. I'm campaign manager for Team Essa Faal. I'd like to take this opportunity as a closure to say a very big thank you to everybody who's left their many, many responsibilities to come out and vote for us. Yesterday was a marvel to some of us who have only got into into politics recently. But the feeling that we had throughout the campaign, the fact that we were able to touch so many people across the country in the period that we have been out since Essa's declaration is a good feeling to us in the one hand, but also it is as a result of the need for change in our country. You all know that we have a youth bulge, and that is why one of the two most important elements in our campaign was about the youth and women. And yesterday, in spite of the very poor, and I have to be honest with you, the expectations that we had of the voter didn't materialize yesterday. But what we have achieved in the period that we've been out is astounding. And we want to thank everybody who has contributed in making our campaign a great success. We may not have succeeded in the polls, but in the period that we've been out, right across the country, we have seen love, both for Essa, but for country. We have engaged with the young people who had come out in their great numbers to support the cause that Essa represents and Team Essa Faal also represents. Every day in this compound here, in Essa's residence, they have come to pledge their support. As far away as in Kantora and Fatou, they have come out to support our cause. That cause is what motivates us. That cause is what will continue to drive us as we look to bring change to this country. Turning around a country is never going to be easy. But for us, the work is half done. Why? Because we know we have the support of these first-time and second-time voters in a way perhaps that the other parties cannot enjoy. So we continue to look forward to further engagements with these two cohorts of women and the young people of this country. They are the motivation which drives us. Of all the people who went out across the country to vote for us, you have our deepest appreciation. And we say a very big thank you again to everybody who have had anything, the press, the security forces, the coordinators, our mobilizers, right across the country. We say a very big thank you for the selflessness that you have demonstrated in pursuing our cause. We say to the IEC a great thank you for making the election yesterday as fair as it could be. But we also have to reckon with the fact that there were little niggling issues that needs to be rectified in time for 2006. We look forward to the continued support of the vast majority of Gambians who have shown great goodwill to our cause. And we continue to look forward to 2016 with hope.
2026. 2026.
You know 2016 sticks in your So that's a long way away. 2006.
26.
2026. I think I need to stop here, but let me be clear.
Fatigue.
Yes, I've been very tired. That's no excuse. But yes, we look forward to further engagements, and we hope that the people who supported us will stay the course and will also continue to support. And those of you who, the mobilizers and the coordinators that have done such great work, that I want to encourage you to remain with us as we look forward to 2026. So thank you very much.
Well, before you go, we have said the thank yous, but we haven't said the apologies. And I believe that that side of the equation is equally important. So as the candidate, I apologize to all Gambians for any mistake or any wrongdoing we may have done during the period. Be rest assured, it was never our intention to do any wrong, neither was it our intention to be disrespectful to anybody. But for anyone who has taken any of our actions with distaste, we're really sorry. It was never our intention or purpose. All we always strive for is to ensure the unity of the Gambian people and their prosperity. So thank you all.
Thank you very much.